Ladies, listen up. Have you ever sat there, staring at your phone, waiting for a message from someone who should have made you a priority? You start questioning yourself. Did I do something wrong? Am I not good enough? And instead of recognizing the real issue, you try harder, texting first, accepting last-minute plans, making excuses for someone who clearly doesn't see your worth. Stop. Right now. A queen does not sit around doubting her value. She does not beg for attention, she does not chase love. And she certainly does not lower her standards to accommodate those who refuse to rise. She sets the bar high, and if someone cannot meet it, she does not step down, she steps away. But how do you become that kind of woman? How do you not only attract respect but command it effortlessly? How do you carry yourself in a way that makes people treat you as the queen you truly are? It starts with how you see yourself. It starts with the standards you set, the boundaries you enforce, and the way you choose to live your life. When you truly know your worth, you won't have to demand respect. It will come naturally. You will attract people who value you, not just for what you give, but for who you are. And honestly, if I had known these things earlier, I wouldn't have wasted time waiting for people to realize my worth. I would have realized it myself first. Are you ready, ladies? Let's begin. 1. Your worth is how you live. Let's get one thing straight. Your worth is not something others give you. It's not determined by a relationship status, a job title, or the way people treat you. It's reflected in how you treat yourself every single day. A high-value woman doesn't need validation. She doesn't need to prove her worth with designer bags, a ring on her finger, or a man standing beside her. Her value is in the way she carries herself, the way she respects her time, and the standards she refuses to lower. But here's where most women get stuck. They wait. They wait for a man to choose them before they feel worthy. They wait for external success before believing they are enough. They wait for people to respect them before respecting themselves. Stop waiting. Start living. Your worth isn't in what you say, it's in what you do. Every action you take is either reinforcing your self-worth or chipping away at it. Think about it. Do you say you value yourself, but let people waste your time? Do you claim to have standards but constantly make exceptions? Do you want to be treated like a queen but treat yourself like an afterthought? Your routine, your decisions, and your standards teach the world how to treat you. Picture this. A woman has plans for a Friday night. Maybe a workout, maybe a quiet evening with a book, maybe dinner with friends. Then, at 9 p.m., a guy texts, "Hey, wanna hang out?" Now, a woman who doesn't value herself. She sees that text, her heart jumps, and she changes all her plans. She drops everything to be available because she sees last-minute attention as better than nothing. But a woman who knows her worth? She doesn't rearrange her life for someone who couldn't even plan ahead. She reads the message, smiles, and goes back to her book. Why? Because a queen does not wait around for crumbs when she deserves the feast. Let's talk about Lisa. Lisa is smart, beautiful, and has her life together. But whenever she starts dating someone, she finds herself over-explaining, over-giving, and overcompensating. She wants to be easygoing, so she ignores red flags. She doesn't want to seem demanding, so she never asks for what she needs. She convinces herself that if she's just patient, he'll change. Spoiler alert, he never does. Because here's the hard truth. When you accept less, you teach people that's all they have to give you. Lisa finally woke up one day and realized it wasn't about him. It was about her. She wasn't being treated poorly because men were bad. She was being treated poorly because she allowed it. The day she stopped accepting half-hearted effort, everything changed. She started walking away from men who didn't meet her standards. She stopped explaining herself to people who didn't listen. She stopped proving her worth because she finally believed in it. And guess what? The moment she stopped chasing, the right people started showing up. Confidence isn't just in your words, it's in your energy, and people can feel it. A woman who respects herself moves differently. She speaks with certainty, not hesitation. She makes eye contact, not avoids it. She walks into a room knowing she belongs, not hoping for approval. When you embody confidence, you don't have to chase, because you attract. Enough theory. Let's get real. Here's how you start embodying self-worth today. Stop over-explaining yourself. You don't owe the world a justification for why you have standards. Stop making excuses for bad behavior. If someone disrespects you once, it's a mistake. If they do it twice, it's a pattern. If they do it 3 times, it's a choice, and you should make yours too. Prioritize yourself unapologetically. Take yourself to dinner. Spend money on your growth. Protect your peace like it's the most valuable thing you own, because it is. Carry yourself like a queen before anyone else does. The way you treat yourself will dictate how others treat you. The world is full of people who will tell you who to be, how to act, and what you deserve. But guess what? They don't get to decide. You do. You don't need to prove anything to anyone. You don't need permission to hold high standards. You don't need validation to be worthy. You already are. And the moment you start living like it, the world will notice. 2. A queen never begs. He told you he wasn't ready for a serious relationship, but a few months later, you see him holding hands with someone new, smiling in their Instagram stories, treating her the way you begged to be treated. And suddenly, everything clicks. It was never about timing. It was about choice. A queen does not beg for attention, love, or commitment. She does not wait around, hoping someone will finally see her worth. If a man doesn't recognize it from the start, he doesn't deserve a place in her life. Period. No exceptions, no excuses. But let's be honest, many women have been there. You tell yourself, maybe he just needs more time, or maybe if I show him how much I care, he'll realize what he has. So you lower your standards, you accept inconsistency, you settle for breadcrumbs, and before you know it, you're exhausted, overextending, and giving everything to someone who never truly chose you in the first place. Stop. Right? Now. If someone truly values you, you will never have to question your place in their life. The right man won't confuse you. He won't string you along, keeping you as an option while he explores other possibilities. He won't tell you he just needs space, only to suddenly commit to someone else when the conditions are exactly the same. A man who wants you will make it clear. A man who doesn't will keep you guessing. So, what do? You stop making excuses. You stop romanticizing potential. You stop investing in a man who sees you as temporary. You recognize that every moment you spend waiting for someone to change is a moment you're stealing from yourself. Because here's the truth. You are not a backup plan. You are not here to convince someone to choose you. If they don't see your value from day one, choose yourself and move on. Let's paint a picture. Imagine you walk into a high-end store looking for a designer bag. The sales associate tells you, this bag is exclusive, high quality, and in high demand. Do you think people hesitate? No, they see its worth and buy it without negotiation. Now imagine if the same bag had a limited time discount sign on it. Suddenly people wonder if it's really worth the price. The moment you make yourself a limited time offer, a discounted version of yourself, people stop seeing you as rare. That's exactly what happens when you lower your standards to accommodate someone's lack of effort. When you stick around waiting for clarity that should have been there from the start, you're not proving your love, you're proving your willingness to settle. And let's be clear, a queen does not settle. You might think, but what if he really just needs time? What if I walk away too soon? The answer is simple. If he's the right man, walking away won't make you lose him. It will make him realize your value. A man respects a woman who respects herself. If he doesn't, he was never the right man. Think about it. How many times have you seen a woman tolerate less than she deserves, only for the man to turn around and give someone else everything she wanted? How many times have you heard, he changed for her? The truth? He didn't change. He just never saw the last woman as someone he needed to step up for. And that's not a reflection of her. It's a reflection of the fact that she allowed it. The hardest lesson to learn is this: love should never feel like convincing. If you feel like you have to constantly remind someone how amazing you are already losing. The right man will already know. The right people in your life, friends, family, partners, will already recognize your worth. You won't have to perform, to prove, to beg. You'll just be, and that will be enough. So what do you do moving forward? You don't accept mixed signals. You don't tolerate half-hearted effort. You don't sit around hoping that one day he'll see what he lost. Because a queen doesn't wait to be chosen. She chooses herself. And when you do that, when you refuse to beg, to settle, to shrink yourself just to fit into someone else's world? That's when you step into your true power. That's when you become a woman who commands, not demands, respect. 3. Boundaries define your worth. Your coworker keeps piling extra work on you, knowing you won't say no. Your boyfriend cancels plans at the last minute again, and you just adjust. Your friends always expect you to show up when they need something, but when you need them? Silence. If you don't set boundaries, people will keep crossing them. A high-value woman doesn't fear saying no when necessary. She doesn't let people treat her like a backup plan, an emotional dumping ground, or a last-minute option. She knows that boundaries aren't about pushing people away. They're about teaching people how to treat her. The truth is, most people don't intentionally disrespect you. They just take what you allow. If you always say yes, why would they stop asking? If you always tolerate inconsistency, why would they change? If you always clean up their messes, why would they ever learn to take responsibility? People will treat you exactly the way you let them. But let's be honest, setting boundaries is hard. Especially if you've been a people pleaser all your life. You worry that saying no will make you seem rude, difficult, or unkind. But let me ask you this. Is saying yes all the time making you happy? Is putting everyone else first leaving you fulfilled? Or are you exhausted, drained, and secretly resentful? The more you ignore your own needs to please others, the more you teach them that your needs don't matter. And when people believe that, they stop considering you altogether. Let's talk about Lisa. Lisa is the nice girl, the one who never says no, the one who picks up the extra shifts, rearranges her schedule for her boyfriend, and answers her friends' 2 a.m. venting calls even when she has an early morning. She keeps telling herself, it's fine, they need me. But here's the problem, no one checks if Lisa needs them. One day, Lisa is overwhelmed, work is stressful, she hasn't slept well, and all she wants is a quiet night alone. Then her friend calls, hey, I need to talk, it's important. Lisa is drained, but she picks up anyway. She listens, gives advice, and comforts her friend. But when Lisa finally says, hey, I've been struggling too, there's an awkward silence. Oh, well, you're strong, you'll figure it out. That's when Lisa realizes she's not strong, she's just been silently suffering. People assume she can handle everything because she never complains. They assume she doesn't need help because she never asks. But the truth is, Lisa has just been putting everyone's needs above her own, and that has to stop. The moment Lisa started setting boundaries, everything changed. She stopped apologizing for saying no, she stopped answering calls that drained her. She stopped tolerating relationships that only took and never gave. And guess what? The right people stayed, the wrong ones disappeared. Because boundaries don't push away the right people, they filter out the wrong ones. You might be thinking, but what if people get upset when I set boundaries? Good. Let them. The only people who will be offended by your boundaries are the ones who benefited from you having none. And do you really want to keep those people around? A queen does not negotiate her standards. She does not allow anyone to manipulate her into feeling guilty for protecting her energy. She does not let fear of rejection stop her from demanding the respect she deserves. If someone values you, they will respect your boundaries. If they don't, then their presence in your life was conditional on your lack of self-respect. It's time to start protecting your energy like your life depends on it, because it does. You don't need to answer every call. You don't need to explain yourself when you say no. You don't need to tolerate people who only show up when they need something. The moment you start prioritizing your well-being, you will realize something powerful. Your world won't collapse when you start saying no. The people who truly care will respect you even more, and those who disappear, they were never there for you to begin with. The most powerful thing you can do as a woman is decide what you will and will not accept. The more you respect your own limits, the more others will respect them too. You don't owe anyone unlimited access to your time, energy, or emotions. The only person you owe that level of commitment to is yourself. And here's the beautiful part. When you set boundaries, you don't just protect yourself. You also attract people who genuinely respect you. The ones who don't guilt-trip you for having standards. The ones who value your time, your presence, and your peace. Because the right people will never expect you to drain yourself to make them comfortable. They will honor your boundaries because they honor you. And when you live that way, when you embody self-respect in everything you do, you step into your power like never before. 4. Soft, not weak. I used to think that being kind, understanding, and patient would make people appreciate me more. That if I listened, if I gave, if I forgave, people would naturally respect me. But reality taught me something different. The more I gave, the more some people took. The more I forgave, the more some people repeated the same mistakes. The more I tried to be soft, the more some people saw it as weakness. And I know I'm not alone. You've been there too. You've been the woman who listens when no one listens to her. The woman who forgives even when she's not given an apology. The woman who keeps giving, hoping that one day, someone will finally give back. But here's the truth. Softness is not the problem. The problem is when you allow softness to exist without boundaries. Being kind does not mean being available to everyone. Being understanding does not mean tolerating disrespect. Being loving does not mean accepting less than you deserve. The moment you confuse kindness with submission, patience with passivity, or gentleness with powerlessness, you give people permission to take advantage of you. And they will. Not because they're necessarily bad people, but because that's human nature. People will take what they can get. I remember a time when I had a friend who always needed me. She would call late at night, vent for hours, cry on my shoulder, and I was always there. But when I needed someone, silence. I told myself, she's just going through a tough time. She doesn't mean to ignore me, but deep down, I knew the truth. She valued what I gave, but she never valued me. And that's when I learned a painful but necessary lesson. If someone only values you when you're making their life easier, they don't value you at all. So how do you balance being soft without being weak? It starts with redefining what it means to be a strong woman. A strong woman is not loud, aggressive, or closed off. She does not need to become cold to protect herself. She simply knows when to open her heart and when to walk away. A queen is soft when she chooses to be, but no one can force her to be. She can be gentle, warm, and nurturing, but the moment she feels her kindness is being taken for granted, she steps back. She doesn't beg for appreciation. She doesn't explain why she deserves respect. She doesn't plead for people to reciprocate. She simply withdraws her presence, and that alone is enough. Think about it this way. A velvet glove is soft to the touch, elegant, graceful, but inside there's steel. That is the essence of being a woman who is soft but never weak. Her softness is a choice, not an obligation. It's a gift, not a requirement. And most importantly, it's never given at the cost of her self-respect. If you're someone who constantly feels drained because you're always giving, always listening, always adjusting for others, take a step back and ask yourself, is my kindness being reciprocated? Is my patience being appreciated? Is my softness a strength? Or is it just making it easier for people to take advantage of me? Because here's the truth. When you start valuing yourself, when you stop tolerating one-sided relationships, when you stop proving your worth through constant self-sacrifice, something shifts. The people who only stayed because of what you could give them will disappear. But the ones who truly love you, the ones who see your softness as a gift and not an opportunity, will remain. That's the real test. Some people will be angry when you stop overextending. They'll call you selfish when you stop dropping everything for them. They'll say you've changed when you stop tolerating their behavior. But don't let that guilt trap you. You are not here to be used. You are here to be valued. So be soft, be kind, be loving, but never ever let anyone mistake that for weakness, because a queen knows when to offer warmth and when to walk away. 5. Stop chasing those who don't choose you. If you constantly have to chase someone, it's not love. It's a lack of self-respect. Love is not something you beg for. It's not something you need to prove yourself worthy of. A high-value woman does not run after attention, affection, or commitment. She doesn't waste her energy convincing someone to see her worth. She knows that if someone truly wants her in their life, she will never have to question it. Think about it. The people who genuinely care about you, who truly value you, never make you wonder where you stand. They don't disappear for days and come back with weak excuses. They don't keep you waiting, hoping, overanalyzing every little message or lack of response. They don't make you feel like you're an option. They make you feel like a priority. And if you are not a priority in someone's life, you should not be in their life at all. But here's the problem. Many women confuse effort with value. They think that the more they try, the more they give, the harder they fight, the more valuable they will become in someone else's eyes. They believe that if they just show how much they care, how deeply they love, how patient they are, that one day, it will all be reciprocated. But that's not how it works. Love is not earned by proving yourself. It is given freely, or it is not love at all. A queen does not chase. She does not wait by the phone for a message. She does not keep checking if he watched her stories. She does not rearrange her life for someone who barely includes her in theirs. She lives. She thrives. She focuses on building a life so full, so fulfilling, so rich with passion and purpose that the right people naturally gravitate toward her. She does not attract by force. She attracts by being. If someone is unsure about you, let them go. If someone is inconsistent, let them go. If someone only reaches out when they need something, let them go. You are not here to prove your worth to someone who doesn't see it. You are not here to chase people who barely acknowledge you. You are not here to lower your standards to make someone comfortable. The moment you stop chasing, you take your power back. Many women fear walking away because they believe no one better will come along. They believe that if they let go, they will regret it. But the truth is, you cannot lose the right person. The one who is meant for you will never need to be convinced, reminded, or persuaded to stay. The right person will show up, will choose you, and will make you feel safe in that choice. It's time to stop settling for breadcrumbs when you deserve the full feast. It's time to stop waiting for someone to wake up and realize what they have. It's time to start living your life for you, not in hopes that someone else will finally see your value. You should be so busy building your dreams, focusing on your passions, and creating a life that excites you that you don't even have time to wonder why someone isn't texting back. The irony is, when you stop chasing, when you start prioritizing yourself, something shifts. Suddenly the people who took you for granted start noticing. The ones who once made you question yourself start reaching out. But by then, you won't care. Because a woman who knows her worth does not wait for someone to realize it. She does not sit around hoping someone will finally be ready for her. She moves forward. She steps into her power. She chooses herself. And that is the real key. If someone doesn't choose you, choose yourself. If someone doesn't see your worth, see it for yourself. If someone does not appreciate your presence, remove it. The love you are looking for starts with you. When you stop chasing, when you stop proving, when you stop begging, you don't just gain respect, you gain peace. And that peace, that confidence, that unshakable self-worth, that is what makes you magnetic. That is what makes people sit up and take notice. That is what makes you a woman who is not just desirable, but unforgettable. So stop running, stop waiting, stop wondering, live fully, love yourself unapologetically, and let the right people meet you at your level. Because the moment you do, the moment you truly understand this, everything changes. 6. Invest in yourself first. You spend hours perfecting your makeup, styling your hair, picking out the perfect outfit, making sure every little detail is flawless before meeting him. You want to impress, you want to feel beautiful, you want to be chosen. But when was the last time you put that same energy into yourself? Not for a man, not for approval, but for your own growth, success, and happiness. I once had a friend, let's call her Sarah. Sarah was the definition of stunning. Always put together, always polished. When she walked into a room, heads turned. She knew how to captivate, how to make an entrance. But here's what people didn't see. Behind the confidence, behind the glamour, Sarah was terrified. Terrified of being alone. Terrified of not being enough. She would spend hundreds on beauty products, but hesitate to invest in a course that could advance her career. She would drop everything to support a man's dreams but neglect her own. She could spend hours working on her appearance, but had no time to work on her mindset, her goals, her financial independence. One day, Sarah met a guy she thought was the one. She gave him everything, her time, her energy, her loyalty. She built her life around him, adjusted her schedule for him, compromised for him. But slowly, something shifted. He became distant. He started making excuses, and eventually, he left. Sarah was devastated. Not just because she lost him, but because she realized she had nothing of her own. She had spent so much time trying to be perfect for someone else that she had forgotten to build a life for herself. That's when it hit her. The problem wasn't the guy. The problem was that she had been waiting for someone to choose her instead of choosing herself. She had been so focused on being someone's dream girl that she had neglected to become her own dream woman. And so she changed. She started investing, not in pleasing others, but in building herself. She went back to school, she started a business, she poured into her health, her passions, her financial freedom, and something incredible happened. Suddenly she wasn't worried about whether a man liked her. She wasn't chasing. She wasn't proving. Because she was fulfilled. That's the power of investing in yourself. When you prioritize your own growth, your own happiness, your own success, you stop looking for someone else to complete you. You stop settling for less because you know your life is already full. And ironically, that's when the right people start showing up. Not because you need them, but because you don't. The truth is, the most attractive thing about a woman is not her looks, her ability to please, or how much she sacrifices for others. It's her energy. A woman who knows her worth radiates something different. She's not desperate. She's not waiting to be saved. She's focused, confident, living with purpose. And that kind of energy, it's magnetic. So ask yourself, where is your energy going? Are you spending it on people who don't invest back into you? Are you waiting for permission to go after what you want? Are you prioritizing validation over actual growth? It's time to shift. Time to start investing in what truly matters, yourself. Build your skills, read, learn, grow. Strengthen your mind as much as you do your body. Take care of your health, not just to look good in a dress, but to feel strong in your own skin. Work on your finances, make your own money. Build your own stability so that no one ever holds power over you. Chase your passions. Stop putting off your dreams because you're waiting for the right time or the right partner to share them with. You are the right person. Now is the right time. And most importantly, stop waiting for someone to choose you before you start choosing yourself. When you invest in yourself first, everything changes. You stop tolerating relationships that drain you. You stop seeking external approval. You stop depending on anyone else for your happiness. Because you've built something unshakable. You. Sarah? She's thriving now. She's not chasing love, she's attracting it. Not because she needs someone, but because she became someone. A woman who walks with purpose, confidence, and undeniable worth. And the best part? She's never been happier. So what about you? What would happen if you started pouring into yourself instead of people who don't value you? If you stopped waiting, stopped hesitating, stopped holding yourself back? It's time. Invest in yourself first. Everything else will follow. 7. How you show up is how you're treated. Walk into a room with your shoulders slumped, eyes down, hesitant in your steps, and the world will see you as uncertain, unsure, and easy to overlook. Walk in with your head high, back straight, and an energy that says, I belong here, and watch how differently people respond. The way you carry yourself, the way you speak, the way you present your presence to the world dictates exactly how the world treats you. You don't have to say a word. Your energy does the talking. If you act like someone who doesn't value herself, people will treat you accordingly. If you hesitate to speak, they won't listen. If you let others take advantage, they'll keep doing it. If you tolerate less, you will keep getting less. But the moment you shift, the moment you start moving with confidence, intention, and self-respect, everything changes. Respect is not something you demand, it's something you command. And you do that by showing up as the version of yourself who already deserves it. You want to be treated like a queen? Then show up like one. A queen doesn't seek validation. She doesn't wait for others to decide her worth. She carries herself with certainty, knowing she is valuable, whether or not anyone else acknowledges it. She walks into every situation, every conversation, every interaction with an unspoken expectation. I will be treated with respect. But here's where most women get stuck. They think confidence is something you have to be born with, that some women just have it and some don't. That couldn't be further from the truth. Confidence is not a personality trait, it's a decision, a habit, a muscle you build. And just like any muscle, if you don't use it, it weakens. If you do, it strengthens. Every time you choose to carry yourself with self-assurance, you reinforce the message to yourself and to the world that you are worthy of being treated well. Your presence in any space sends a message. The question is, what message are you sending? When you show up uncertain, apologetic, and hesitant, people subconsciously mirror that energy. They hesitate to take you seriously. They question your value. They assume you will accept less because you seem unsure of your own worth. But when you show up with clarity, certainty, and a quiet strength, you shift the dynamic without having to say a word. Think about the most magnetic people you've ever met. They aren't necessarily the loudest, the most extroverted, or even the most physically attractive. What makes them unforgettable is how they carry themselves. They own their space. They don't shrink to make others comfortable. They don't over-explain, over-apologize, or seek approval. They simply exist with an energy that demands attention and respect. And that's what you need to cultivate. An unshakable sense of self that speaks for you before you even open your mouth. Because people are always watching, always assessing. Not in a judgmental way, but in a reactive way. They react to the way you show up. If you respect yourself, they will too. If you value your time, they will value it too. If you set high standards for yourself, others will rise to meet them. But if you show up uncertain, looking for permission to take up space, people will subconsciously treat you as though you don't belong. If you lower your energy to match those who don't respect you, they will continue to take advantage. If you keep tolerating half-hearted effort, that's all you will ever receive. So how do you shift? It starts with self-awareness. Ask yourself, what do I want people to feel when I walk into a room? What kind of energy am I bringing? Am I carrying myself like someone who expects respect? Or am I hoping for it? The way you answer these questions will tell you exactly where you need to adjust. Stand taller, speak clearer, take up space unapologetically, make eye contact, slow down your speech. People who know they are worth listening to never rush their words. Stop justifying your existence, stop looking for permission. The world mirrors back the energy you put out, so give it something powerful to reflect. And remember, this isn't about arrogance, it's about certainty. It's about knowing that you are already valuable, already enough, already worthy of being treated with dignity. You don't have to prove it, you just have to embody it. The way you show up is the way you will be treated. Choose wisely. 8. You don't need everyone, just the right ones. You say yes when you want to say no. You smile when something upsets you. You nod in agreement just to avoid conflict. And at the end of the day, you feel drained, frustrated, and invisible. Why? Because you're trying to please everyone. You're trying to be liked by people who wouldn't even notice if you disappeared. Here's the truth. Not everyone will like you, and that's a good thing. A queen does not waste her energy trying to be loved by the entire world. She does not bend over backward to fit into spaces that don't appreciate her. She does not shrink herself to make others comfortable. She understands that her value is not up for debate. And most importantly, she knows that the wrong people will never see it, no matter how much she tries to prove it. So why do so many women struggle with this? Because we're taught that being liked means being safe. That if people approve of us, we belong. That if we avoid confrontation, we will be accepted. But what does this actually lead to? A life of constantly walking on eggshells, of watering yourself down, of becoming someone else just to fit in. And the worst part, it doesn't even work. No matter how much you try to please everyone, there will always be someone who doesn't approve. Someone who criticizes, someone who judges. Because people don't see you as you are, they see you through the lens of their own experiences, insecurities, and expectations. And that has nothing to do with you. The most powerful thing you can do is stop chasing approval and start choosing your circle wisely. Because not all attention is good attention. Not all companies are worth keeping. Not all relationships deserve your energy. The right people, the ones who truly see you, respect you, and value you, will never require you to be anything other than yourself. Think about the people in your life right now. Who do you feel the need to impress? Who makes you feel like you have to work for their approval? Who drains you? Now think about the people who make you feel safe, who listens when you speak, who respects your boundaries, who supports your growth. That's the difference. The wrong people make you feel small. The right people make you feel seen. So what happens when you stop trying to win over the wrong ones? You reclaim your time, your energy, your peace. You stop explaining yourself to people who are committed to misunderstanding you. You stop proving yourself to those who have already decided not to appreciate you. You stop forcing relationships that should have ended long ago. And in that space, something shifts. The more you let go of people who don't align with you, the more room you make for those who do. The ones who celebrate your success instead of feeling threatened by it. The ones who listen without judgment. The ones who stand beside you without conditions. Those are the ones who matter. This doesn't mean you need to be cold or dismissive. It simply means that your focus should be on quality over quantity. You don't need 100 acquaintances who barely know you. You need a handful of solid relationships built on mutual respect. You don't need to be invited to every event or included in every conversation. You need to be in spaces where you feel valued, not tolerated. Some people will not like your confidence. Some people will be uncomfortable with your standards. Some will resent your growth because it reminds them of their own stagnation. Let them. You are not responsible for making other people comfortable at the expense of your own self-worth. And here's the beautiful part. When you stop chasing approval, when you stop trying to win people over, when you start living fully and unapologetically, something happens. The right ones start showing up. The ones who match your energy, the ones who respect your space, the ones who choose you, not because you proved yourself, but because they see you for exactly who you are. So stop explaining, stop proving, stop adjusting yourself for people who will never appreciate the real you. The right ones will never ask you to. And that, my friend, is what makes a queen. A queen is not defined by a title, a crown, or the admiration of others. She is defined by how she carries herself, the standards she upholds, and the way she demands respect, without ever needing to beg for it. She does not chase love, she attracts it. She does not settle for breadcrumbs, she expects the full feast. And she does not waste her energy proving her worth to those who refuse to see it. But here's what you need to remember. This is not about them. This is about you. The way you show up in the world determines the way you will be treated. If you live with confidence, you will be met with respect. If you set boundaries, you will filter out the wrong people. If you invest in yourself first, you will become unstoppable. And yes, not everyone will love you. Not everyone will approve. But that's the price of authenticity. A queen does not concern herself with the opinions of those who do not add value to her life. She stands firm. She walks with purpose. She chooses herself every single time. Now I want to hear from you. What was your biggest takeaway from this? Have you ever had a moment where you realized your worth and walked away from something that no longer served you? Share your story in the comments below. Your experience might be exactly what someone else needs to hear today.